Welcome to ScratchJr Coding. This is a series of videos to help you learn to code using ScratchJr. On ScratchJr, you can create your own stories, riddles, games, and whatever else you want to create. You're in control of everything in the programs that you write. You will need the ScratchJr app on your iPad, Android tablet, or computer. ScratchJr is a free download, and you'll have to get it so that you can do coding with us. Today, you're going to create something like this. It's a maze game. To make the frog move through the maze, I have to click on the arrows. And if he hits a wall, he just goes back and has to start over. But if he can maneuver through all the corners and not touch the wall, then he'll make it to the finish. You won! This maze game is lesson number 8. You'll be using a lot of things that you've already learned, and there'll be some new things. So if this goes too fast for you, then you might want to go back and watch the first 7 lessons, or maybe watch this video a couple times. One thing that's new is I have 2 different screens. I have one that's got the maze on it, and then once he wins the game, then it goes to this one that says you won. That's 2 different scenes. And on this scene, I have all this confetti falling down. And the words, you won. And on the first scene, I have our little frog and the maze. And then the finish line is a different character. And then all of these different arrows are different characters. Whenever you click on one of the arrow characters, it makes the frog move in that direction. Like I said, this game is more complicated than what we've worked on so far, but it really is a lot of fun. Are you ready to create your own maze? Click on the plus icon to start a new project and remove the default character. And like we did before when we learned how to use the editor, we're going to click here on the paintbrush and we have to make a maze. What I did with the other one is draw a bunch of rectangles and filled them in and just turned them in all the different directions that I needed. But that surely takes a lot more time. I like the way it turned out though. But what would be even easier is if I picked the line tool, and picked a really thick line, and just drew a maze. We'll go this way, that way. And to fill the whole screen, we have to select it and pick the way it looks blocks and make it look bigger. We need another character to go through the maze. I had the frog before. I think I'll pick him again. I like him. And I have the frog selected, and he's too big. He'd be bumping into the walls for sure. So let's make him smaller. This can be his starting place. We have to make the finish line. I like green for that. Just to start out, we're going to just put the finish line right here to make it really simple. We need one more for now, and that's going to be our right arrow. but I'll show you how I drew that. I made a triangle. And let's turn it to the right. And move it over. Fill it with some blue. And I made a rectangle. If you wanted to, you could just as easily pick the line tool and just draw an arrow. That works just as good. So my arrow is too big. I have to pick the blue arrow and then I can make it smaller. Now what I want is when I click the blue arrow, I want the frog to move to the right. So we've seen some of these blocks that cause things to happen. If you tap on something, you can make it do things. If something runs into something, you can make it do things. If you hit the green flag, you can make it do things. But how can the blue flag say, hey, I've been touched? Frog, you move right. How can he send a message to the frog and tell him to move right? What he can do is put it in this envelope. He's going to send a message in the envelope to the frog and tell the frog to go right. So just to help me remember right, I'm going to do red. Red for right. They both start with R. So this is the right arrow. When it's touched, it's going to send a red letter. It really doesn't even know where it's sending the letter. It just knows that if it's touched, it's going to send a red letter. Let's go to the code for the frog. So frog, if you see somebody has sent out a red letter, I want you to open that and then go right. Let's see if that works. And every time I touch the blue arrow, the frog goes right. Now nothing happens when he hits the finish line or hits the walls of the maze. We haven't written the code for that. But really the new part that you're learning for this lesson is going to be sending a message from this blue arrow to the frog. We'll tell the green finish line when somebody runs into you, then I want you to say, you won. Let's see what that looks like. So the finish line is going to tell the frog that he won. So let's edit the finish line and tell it to spin around and then let's move it over here. Because we've got to get our frog all the way over here to the other side of the maze. So the code for the blue arrow to the right is send a red message. We've got to do that 3 more times for up, down, and left. In a previous lesson, you learned how to copy characters. Let's do that again. We're going to copy this character by dragging it over here to our scene. And we're going to copy that blue flag again by dragging it into our scene. And one more time to make 4 of them. So now we have 4 arrows. We need to edit this one. And make it point up. Edit this one. To go left and edit this one. to point down. So we have right, up, left, down, all sending a red message. We have to do something different every time. And I need to make every one of them smaller. So right is red. For up, let's see, it ends with P, so let's do purple. For left, let's do yellow. For down, let's do green. I think we can remember all my codes. So let's tell the frog to receive all these messages. So red is right. There's 4 different directions we're going to have to figure out. We got right, left, up, and down. Okay, left was with the L, it's yellow. Up is purple. Down is green. Did I remember that right? Down, left. Ooh, we didn't tell him to start over when he hits a wall. Up, right, down. So all our arrows are working. That's good. We got to tell him when he hits a wall, hey dude, you got to start over. So we need another code for the frog. We have him picked. We're going to tell him, when you run into something, you're going to have to just start over. Let's see how that works. Right's working. If he goes down and runs into the wall, it makes him start over. If he keeps hitting the wall, he has to keep starting over. Goes right, down. Go, Froggy, you can do it. Run, Froggy, down, Froggy. Finish line. Yay, you won. Go, Froggy. Have you been making any new games? Do you wait and watch my videos, or are you coming up with stuff on your own? You have learned so much and done so much. You could start making some stories and games all on your own. That's the end of this lesson. Now it's your turn. Create a project and get a character, make a maze, and make your character move using arrows that you create. If you're one of my younger students, it is perfectly fine for you to have the finish line right over here and just program one arrow and make your character finish the finish line just right by going over to the right. If you can create a maze and make your character move through the maze by tapping on arrows, then congratulations, you've mastered this lesson. This free kids coding lesson was provided by STEMinGames. Subscribe, watch more lessons, and keep practicing, and soon you will be creating new worlds and games and making your ideas come to life. I'll see you next time.